Hi, this is Lori with Heroes Character Rental Service.
I'm Hamilton.
And I'm Peter.
And we're here today to review a movie.
Black and Blue.
Black and Blue.
Yep.
So, Black and Blue is a police drama set in New Orleans, present times. And anybody, should I give a little background, more background in the movie? It's basically about a rookie who witnesses some of her fellow cops doing some illegal, bad crime, bad things, and she gets it on her body camera. They see her, and the chase is on to retrieve her, to silence her, and get that body camera. So anybody want to chime in with what you think? I had never heard of this movie, so it was quite a surprise.
I didn't see the trailer for this movie, but I had seen the billboards around town, and I thought it was more of like a Tyrese movie. You know, he's
That's
more
right.
like a supporting
Tyrese
character.
is a star. Naomie Harris, I think, is who plays the rookie cop.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, this is honestly why I go to the movies, to be entertained and to have a surprise. And it was a good surprise. I thought this film, overall, the way they handled the character, it was well done. She wasn't like some over the top, badass
kind
exactly,
of thing, like they tend to do with these female characters in movies. But
she was relatable for her situation. Everything that she went through was relatable, and she was like a real hero. And I liked it. I would recommend it because compared to a lot of other films I've seen, this one was, I thought, decent for this time.
Now you see, I did not know that it was set in New Orleans.
Right.
I didn't either.
Until I'm trying to figure out, where is this at? And I didn't look at the police car. It wasn't until I saw the patch when I saw NOPD, and I was like, wait a minute,
right?
And I was like, okay, this is cool.
I did think that was cool. I think it added something more. If it was somewhere else, you would have been like, whatever. But it's like, I can understand why this would happen in New Orleans.
Yeah, because we've had corrupt cops in New York, we've had them in L.A., and we've had them in Chicago. Now, and there is a big history or underline that everybody's finding out that, wow, New Orleans is pretty bad.
Right.
Well, I want to lay low, an important background for me and Peter is because our generation is the only generation started to be born in California. Our entire family is from New Orleans and Louisiana since way back whenever they got there in the 1700s, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and especially, you haven't been there to New Orleans. I've been a few times, and you can just feel the kind of corruption among the cops and things like that. You can just feel it's like, this place ain't right. I can see why our grandparents left. But I enjoyed this movie a lot. I was surprised by it. I did see the trailer because you showed it to me, asking if I wanted to see the movie because I hadn't heard of it. And the trailer, I was like, wow, this looks like it could be pretty good. But what I was a little disappointed, and the trailer gives a little too much away. So I wasn't really. It's a movie that should keep you on the edge of your seat. But if you see the trailer, I lost a lot of that until probably like the last act of the movie. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Now,
I agree.
Hamilton, there's something that you had said that it was a Tyrese movie. I thought it was. That's what it was.
If you see the billboard.
That's what concerned me because Tyrese, I don't care for.
Right. I agree too. That's why I didn't pay that much attention to it.
A Tyrese movie where the directors say, "Okay, now Tyrese, do you?" I don't want to see it. And
you're right. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Not that.
It wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't like. I don't know who the female was.
I've seen her in stuff before, but she was good. Yeah.
Someone was telling me her name.
A lot of good performances. You mentioned the guy who plays the bad guy. That he's in a lot of stuff, but he really sold his part.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of those guys, just a lot of really good acting performances. I thought it was really important because it's Black and Blue. It's definitely about black people who become in law enforcement, and what does that do to their status and relationships within their communities. This particular cop, she grew up in the area she was patrolling and stuck in, And some of her friends, because she was a cop that she grew up with, would not even acknowledge her anymore. And I think that's like a really important thing. Particularly another thing, we have a lot of family who are in law enforcement as well, and who are patrolling their communities now and stuff like that. So I was really happy to see this story being told.
Yeah, there was a lot of layers and a lot of textures in this that. I'm really glad that the director and the writer explored, even though they didn't bog down the movie doing it.
No,
which was
they didn't go too
really
deep
good.
into it because it's not a complicated movie. It's very it's simply told, which I really appreciated. But it did touch on a lot of things like racial issues that are important. I think it's like how blacks in their community interact with the cops, how the cops interact with their community they're patrolling. These things, it touched on a lot of those things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the thing they did better than anything is they established early on that there's good and bad cops. There's dirty cops, but there's also the kind of cops who wouldn't go for something like, selling drugs on the street or whatever. And obviously the protagonist of this film is a good cop. And like I said, she's not like a superhero or anything like that, but she's totally relatable. And like you said, it's a simple film. It's not like it's not like there's a lot to the story, but there's enough that it
can keep you on the edge of your seat.
Well, yeah, but too, what you were saying, there's a lot of layers because there's the bad cop. There's the good cop. And every type of cop or person in between, it's in there.
There's,
And too many times I see where they go, good, bad, okay, they clash. But what about all the pieces in between?
Yeah, you're right.
All that gray area.
The gray area, right.
They really flushed that out in this movie. And
you have the criminals in the projects that were like, maybe they're criminals, but they don't deserve to be, killed for no reason and things like. And you have some of them, point you're rooting for them because anybody being wronged is being wronged. Which is not fair.
Right.
One thing I think they caught really well was I've never been to New Orleans, but it was this sense of this society that's sort of been like ripped apart, and there's all this just dysfunction within that. That's what I picked up, from the way the people reacted to her throughout the film. They didn't want to get involved. They didn't want to help her.
Right.
They were anti-cop, and you get the sense that this has been going on a long time in this community. Right. And I thought they did a good job.
And the thing is, like I said, they did it all. They touched on race. They touched on relationships. They touched on everything.
There was some even like male-female dynamics too. That's
and
kind
none
of sexism.
With by hitting you over the head with a hammer.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. It wasn't heavy-handed.
It was just, here it is. This is how it works.
As a matter of fact, this is how life is in this particular world.
And just to kind of show, because, I'm brought up in L.A., but with parents from Louisiana. But it was so funny. I'm very detail orientated, and then when I'm looking at some of the scenes, I'm going, "Hey, why aren't there sidewalks?" It's just like, oh, I'm just, and that's what made me say, well, wait a minute, okay, where are they at?
Right,
yeah, exactly.
What is this patch? Where,
There's that scene early in the film when she's running,
right,
and like she stops in front of what looks like a mansion, like a Southern style mansion. I think that was the first.
That's I think it's St. Charles Street in New Orleans. It's a famous street down that way.
That was like my first indication that this is, I think, New York. I mean, I'm sorry, New Orleans.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks
it was kind of like,
New Orleans, I guess.
Is it? And then too, when she went to the cemetery, it's like they're all above the ground. It's like, okay,
well,
this is New Orleans.
When I saw that, I was just like,
yep.
Oh, this got to be New Orleans,
right?
And so when. That's when I started looking at the patches because I said, "Oh, that's New Orleans."
Yeah.
And but it even kind of reminded me of the It was right after they had a hurricane there.
Oh, and Katrina, yeah. They mentioned
No, not Katrina.
Oh, they had a different
one. There was another one, but there had been flooding.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
And there was a weather girl who's now on I guess YouTube or whatever, kind of famous because she said, "Look, people ought to do something." They show one of the graveyards with the flooding, and then you can see the tops of the
the
the well, not the, what do they call those things?
Sepulchers.
The crypts.
Okay, yeah.
And she said, "Look at all of them floating." And I was just like, it's
above sea level.
I was like, she doesn't.
She doesn't get it. She don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. New Orleans.
Okay.
Well, I want to get to I can't think of the actor's name. I think he was Luke Cage in the Netflix.
Oh
series.
yeah, you're right.
He kind of plays like the
either.
bigwig major drug dealer,
right?
Kind of heavy, and I have to say he kind of in some scenes he annoyed me because he was so cartoonish.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He just didn't.
It's weird seeing him play that role. I've seen him play a lot of roles. I've never seen him play like a tough kingpin type character.
It just read comic book cartoony in a movie that kind of dealt more in realism. And stuff.
It seemed like you know what? I think that's why he stood out that way. Is because the movie is so real. And when he did a couple of snares and stuff like this, it was just like
snarls, and then I was like, "Oh, dude, come on!"
If you were tied up in the house, you would kind of look at him and go, "Yeah, man, get out of here with that."
It's funny, Laurie, that you mentioned that guy because my only gripe with this whole movie, and it's not really a gripe, is they got the main bad guy, the main bad cop. He plays that same role in every movie he's in.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. So I can't really
in this,
complain.
I don't.
But it's the same. He was in The Purge. He was in. He was in like Avengers. Captain America. Was it Civil War? I think.
No, it was the second Captain.
Remember, he was like the Navy SEAL. Who,
it was.
He had turned rogue.
He's always bad.
He was even in part of Endgame. But I mean, he's that same character.
That's why you hire him. I guess.
That part is a little generic for me, but he did a good job. I mean,
I thought I couldn't recall him, and I haven't seen Purge. I couldn't recall him in those movies, so he worked for me.
Yeah, he was like a vigilante.
He does. I can see him. Yeah, they get him for this, and he does this a lot.
I mean, it was just that generic bad guy thing that I didn't like. But other than that, I thought I would recommend this movie. I would say
I would too.
You know, I don't want to overhype it, but it's good.
It's a good, solid movie, and don't watch the trailer, and it'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
Because I saw the trailer, but I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, because that's how most trailers are now. You just kind of like whatever. Maybe I'll go see it. I don't know. Yeah.
So, and we out?
We are out.
We are out.
Out.
That was a short one, wasn't it?